Hello and welcome to today's Delta Credit Tip. So you have a great relationship with your kids, but the other parent, not so much. Now you have back child support. Does this belong on your credit report? Can you get it off? How does it affect your lendability? Well, stay tuned. We're going to answer all those questions right here on today's Delta Credit Tip. Hello and welcome back to today's Delta Credit Tip. I'm Michael Holmes, bringing you yet more information to help you in your credit restoration process. Today we're talking child support. Hopefully you'll find this information helpful. If so, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell. Most importantly, people, share. Why? Because half marriages end up in divorce nowadays. So there's a lot of child support issues out there and people need this information, right? So share the love so that we can get educated along the way, all right? So let's talk about that child support. So there's three things that we really want to talk about today. One, does it belong on the credit report? Two, can we get it off the credit report? And three, how does it affect our lendability? Right? So let's first talk about, does it belong there? So there are two levels that child support could end up on your credit report. Back child support. We're not talking current child support. If you owe current child support, if you're paying child support, that will, of course, be part of your debt to income ratio potentially, but it's not going to show up on the credit report if you're current, if you've always been current. But once you are in default, once you owe back child support, it is a federal requirement that once you cap over $1,000 in back child support, it gets reported, right? And there's no way out of that. It's gonna get reported after $1,000. Now, the state that you live in has a different requirement. And typically it's more harsh than the federal. So I'm gonna default to Florida because that's where we're based. In the state of Florida, once you go above $400, then at the state level, they're going to report it. And there are some states that are as little as $1. Okay, so once you exceed that threshold as how much money you owe in back child support, goes on the credit report. And as long as it was provided by either the state or the local child support enforcement agency that the state has hired, it's going on that credit report. Okay, now, can you get it off? So I'm gonna start off by warning you that, okay, you're gonna go and you're gonna Google online. And there's going to be a couple of videos that pop up. And they're going to say, we have the answer to get this off your credit report, right? Get child support removed from your credit report. 609, this and that and whatever, and this and that and the third, right? They don't ever have two videos. And this is the one thing you have to look out for when you're looking at these instructional videos online. Yes, you can dispute this with the bureaus. And yes, if they cannot gather that information from the state or that local agency in the time allotment that's in the Fair Credit Reporting Act, 30 days, then yes, that item will get deleted. But it's not an everyday occurrence, right? It's a fluke. It's not some specific strategy that they're doing that's going to happen every time. Like I said, you'll never see them make a second video of it. Okay? So the idea that you can dispute it off your credit report, yes, it can happen, but it's not likely. Secondly, even if you are successful in getting it off the credit report, as you would with any debt that hasn't reached the statutes of limitations, you still owe that money. Okay? So it's not going to, negate your obligation in any shape or form or fashion. It's just simply somehow been removed from the credit report, probably because of some sort of latent response from the state. Okay, so yes, it can come off, but you're not likely to get it off for that reason. And you're going to see all these conspiracy theory videos about how the state doesn't report and this and that. Yes, they do. Okay, there are specific agencies that their job is to report it to the bureaus. Okay, so the last thing we need to figure out, is how does that affect my lendability? Right? Now, the thing is that if you are going after a government-backed loan, whether it's FHA, VA, or USDA, you cannot have back child support owed. Okay. Now, there is good news in this, in that there are conventional loans. Now, a conventional loan is one that's not backed by the government. It's strictly the bank's rules on how they're going to underwrite this loan. And you could find that the lender simply requires you to have some sort of written agreement with either the state or whomever to satisfy and quantify what that's going to do to your debt to income ratio. And as long as once you include that contractual payment into the calculation of your debt to income, as long as you are within the guidelines that they have, you will still be lendable. Okay? But you're going to need to have this dialogue with them, because typically an FHA loan has different underwriting guidelines with that lender than the conventional. Some could be higher, some could be lower. And of course, you want to have that dialogue before they pull your credit. One other piece of good news, I guess you can call it, child support, unlike all their federal debt, child support, when it comes to how long it can be reported on your credit report, is only 7 years. With all other kinds of government debt, government-backed debt, I should say, those timelines don't exist the same way. But with child support, it does have that 7-year moratorium. So if you go beyond that time that you still owe it, it should not be reflected. Okay. So again, hopefully this information helped. If so, again, give us that thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, share, so that we can all share this information and be informed. And most importantly, make a choice to make a change. Delta.